Stranger danger.
We were screwed either way.
I'm such a stressed person.
You have currently over 4 million Facebook followers.
9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Move the Febreze too, yeah.
Move the Febreze.
The fucking mess of shoes stays
So
there.
does the pink salt like fix your ionic situation of your shoes? Like, does it help like disinfect the shoes?
No, but you know, we got really bored and we tasted it. Because I was like, is this really made of salt, or do they just sell it like pretending it's on some fucking...
No, it's salt.
It's salt as fuck.
It's salt.
Yeah, we licked it. We were licking the lamp, but then we had his dad do it.
You were licking the lamp.
We had to.
Okay.
We
You had to. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you can't buy a lamp without licking it.
I mean, if they advertise that it's made of salt, I need to make sure that it's salt.
No, it's salt. It's Himalayan salt.
It really is.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's I know you can buy it to eat with and all that shit. So it's all the rage. Us cool kids.
I use it. I use Himalayan salt. All right, I'm gonna need you to stop now. Like, sit down. Look at him trying to.
No, that's good though. No, that's good though. Hey, turn it a little more to the side so that white thing isn't right there. No, the other way.
This way?
Right there. Perfect.
Oh, look, he closed the closet. Now we got this IKEA situation.
That's cool though. All right.
All right, Jake, sit down somewhere. Like, move your ass. You're gonna sit outside? He's like, I'm leaving. Fuck off.
I'm out. I like it.
Just sit on the couch. Like, just don't. He's so confused. I don't know.
He's trying to make sure everything's right. He's looking out for you.
Is that these fighters, man? They're really like thank baby Jesus, they're athletes, because
only somebody who takes like abuse, physical abuse, can handle dating or married to Vany Vicious.
It's true.
This is a thing. Like, you have to like roundhouse kicks to the head. Don't phase you? Cool. Can date Vany.
I do the mental abuse part, and then his job the physical abuse part.
You know, I think that I think it's a match made in heaven. I think it worked. I think
he tries to get me to hit him, like, physically.
Yeah.
When we're boxing and shit, he's like, "Come on, hit me," and I'm like, "I can't hit you if
Why can't you hit him?
Because one, I'm not mad at all, so I don't know, and I care. I don't want to hit people that, like, I'm not gonna go punch my friends in the face.
Just strangers.
Just strangers.
Random strangers.
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger.
That's how my parents taught me. Just punch strangers when you get scared.
So, glad to have you join me for this. We're starting out this new project, and wanted to chew the fat with you a little bit. You've worked with me for a long time. Different projects with both Steadfast and Inked, and you've been a member of the tattoo community in lots of different areas, whether it was modeling. You've done a lot of work with brands. You have currently over 4 million Facebook followers, I believe, which is pretty impressive for a non-branded company or anything like that. How did that come about? How did you reach that kind of reach through social media, do you think?
A lot of people ask me how I grew that following, especially on Facebook, and I have no fucking idea. I really have no. Yeah, like, it was one of those things that I started doing everything that I do back in the MySpace days, because I'm one of the OGs and shit. And I don't know, like, it transferred to Facebook. Right. When Facebook became a thing, and then just over the years, it's just kept growing, and I really have no idea. Like, I guess people just love me.
Well, if you, it's one of those relationships.
Sometimes, or hate me.
hate to love you though. You know, that's what they said with Stern. Like, remember in Private Parts, they were like, the average Howard Stern listener listens for 20 minutes a day and says they watch him to see what he's going to say next. And then they said the average Howard Stern hater watched him for like 2-3 hours a day, or listened to him for like 2 or 3 hours a day. Yeah. And the most common response was, as to why, was so that we could hear what he was going to say. Yeah. So I think that's a little bit with you, is like, you know, it's not Vany Vicious for like no reason. I remember you told me that one time when we were friends early on. I was like, why are you so fucking mad about everything? And you were like, my name is fucking Vany Vicious. And I was like, fair enough. Good deal.
Yeah, my friends gave me that name because of my horrible attitude problems sometimes. So.
You know, it's colorful. You are from Miami, correct?
It's true.
Give a shout out.
Born and raised 305, Dade County.
Right. So, you know, it's the area you came up with it's got a certain expectation, you know, and a certain way that you have to kind of be to carry yourself down there. Like Florida native myself, I know the Miami situation, and you handle your own down there. You handle your own down there. But aside from that attitude and all of that, you are generally extremely positive, supportive of others, trying to accomplish their own goals. You're very motivating in that way. Tell a little bit about your I know obviously the fitness side. For those of y'all that don't know Vany, and you go check out her Facebook page and Instagram, you'll get what I'm coming from. Like when I met her, she was modeling already, but was very slim, very small, very petite. And Vany has been on a mission over the past couple of years and taken physical fitness in another direction, not just physically, but the mental aspect, the personal aspect, you know, like how it improves your life. And she's got goals, like, and her goals are out of control. So she's known for certain assets of hers and certain certain assets, and like seriously though, like taking it on like a champ and not trying to fit into like anybody's preconceived notion of physical fitness. She's on her own. I think my alarm is going off. That was really professional. That was nice.
It's all good.
So on a quick detraction before we come back to you, I just started farm to family program here in Philadelphia. As you know, I moved to Philadelphia last year. And in my neighborhood, I'm in Fishtown, right? And in my neighborhood, right down the road, there's this place that's open in this park for 3 hours a week, 3 hours on Thursday. And you go there and you order food for the next week because it's from a farm nearby, right outside of Philly. So you pay money, like $14, and you get like 5 vegetables and a fruit. The next week, you go pick up your box and you just get whatever. So I've gotten like turnips and parsnips and arugula and plums and apples and all this crazy stuff, leeks and stuff that I've never made because I kind of have my comfort space. Like I know how to make A, B, and C. So that's what I buy.
Yeah.
This is awesome because now I get all of these vegetables and I feel like shit if I waste them. So I get all this stuff and like eggs, a carton of eggs, 12 eggs, $2.65, organic eggs, right? Local. Like they're $5 at the store. You know what I mean? And so like local honey for like $5 a pound, which honey's expensive, but always buy honey. It's good for you and you're saving the bees. So buy honey, but, it's badass. So like, you know, I try and shop right anyway, but this is like a new cool thing. So if your neighborhood has something like that and you're fortunate enough to have that, get it. Hold on. You can't hear us. Never mind. So anyways, cool food options. Look around your neighborhood. There might be stuff like that around you. I will say it's one of the benefits of being in the city. Like I love Florida, born and raised. Like I'll always love Florida, but I've always wanted to live in like a more of a major city area with the components of that city. And like, that's how my neighborhood is up here. I mean, there's stuff in a 3-block radius. You got a whole town, like from dog grooming to like the dentist to little corner produce grocery stores. Like you can live like in your neighborhood with just walking. And that's cool. Like I've always wanted to be in that kind of an environment. So not saying I'll live here forever, but totally loving it for right now. Love the building we're in, love the neighborhood. And it's good. It's good.
That's why I like my neighborhood, because I don't live in like Miami. I live in Hialeah, which is a little Cuban ass city in Miami, technically. And
Miami's a Cuban city. What are you talking about?
I mean, yeah, but Hialeah, like no one speaks English. Like it's
hardcore.
Yeah. And like,
so Jake fits right in.
Oh, he does, of course. He hates it, but whatever. He's stuck. So like, even if you go to McDonald's, the people that work there don't speak English. So it's pretty crazy, but I love it because there's so much shit to do in this tiny little city, and everything is open late. Like if you want rice and beans and a steak and plantains at 4 a.m, it's possible.
You're gonna get it.
Yeah, or coffee or whatever you want. Everything's always open. So
and Cuban coffee is no joke.
It's not.
That is my jam.
Starbucks right now, but Cuban coffee is.
I got the Nespresso maker at the house, not like a Keurig, like legit Nespresso maker. I used to have just a regular espresso maker. This thing is fire. And I only do black coffee or black espresso now. Like that's really it. So
you were the one that told me about the Nespresso machine, and I went and bought one.
You like it?
You sold it. Well, I ended up buying the Ninja coffee bar system, and I like this one better.
Yeah.
And it's easier because you use your own coffee grounds. You don't have to order the little cups. And
yeah. But let me tell you about those cups. They're badass because they're all aluminum and they send you a free bag, pre-labeled UPS, and you throw them all in there and you send it right back to Nespresso and it's 100% recycled.
Oh.
So I kind of dig that because with the Keurig things, you know, you're throwing all this plastic away really for nothing. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make any sense. So much extra garbage. But with the Nespresso deal, it's like.
And it tastes better. The Nespresso
way better.
Tastes good. Yeah.
Way better. Way better. So okay, so that little coffee distraction out of the way and turnips and shit. So we're going back to your kind of path, how you got on that, like that you what was the turning point where you were like, I'm modeling, I'm doing this, and I want to go in this other direction and go straight beast mode?
Honestly, like it happened because of an injury. I never really remember?
Right.
I never really was a gym rat, or, you know, I used to go and do some cardio here and there, and my gym membership was at Lady of America because I didn't want people to stare at me at the gym, and I just whatever. And then I was at the time like 115 pounds or something.
Yeah, you were tiny.
And one stormy night, fucking crazy ass fence slams behind me, cuts my Achilles tendon straight through.
So nuts.
I know.
It was like Pet Cemetery shit.
It was literally movie shit. It was disgusting.
Yeah, and it went like they were tracked up into your.
Yeah. Luckily, mine didn't like bounce up too high. So, but usually, they'll go all the way to the back of your kneecap. So you got to cut the whole back of your leg and bring that bitch back down. But mine only went up a little bit, and whatever. Had surgery that night, recovery, all that. And then I started going to the gym because I couldn't afford to go to therapy anymore.
Right.
They were asking me to go 3 times a week. And even with my insurance, it was ridiculous. So
yeah, it's out of control.
Yeah. And then I realized they're just having me like leg press and do calf raises, and I could just do this in a gym for $10 a month every day, you know? So from there, I just started going to the gym, started training, and I don't know, I started liking the gains.
Right. All about the gains.
Yeah. So now here I am, 45 pounds heavier.
And it's serious, everybody. Like you should go check it out because one, obviously, it's, you know, hot chick in her butt, but the other side of it is the whole story. It's more impressive than that. And like seeing her personal body goals and where she's taking it is rad because, like I said, it is different. Like, you know, some people, if it's like, you know, CrossFitters have this particular body that it ends up at. You know, a fighter does, it has this look, and a different type of athlete does, or somebody who's training purely for fitness modeling or whatever. It's all got, you know, it all fits into a certain angle, a certain criteria, and yours is just all about you. So it's awesome. And then your attitude towards, even with the viciousness of Vany, where does this other side come from? This other side of motivating and positivity and encouragement?
I don't know. I guess people, like, I get a lot of messages from girls saying that they look up to me because they're skinny or they don't have a butt, and they feel like because of their genetics, they're never going to get that, you know, get a big butt or grow hips or thighs or whatever. So, and I could relate because when I was skinny, I thought that okay, this is my body type. Even if I work out, I'm never going to make that. Right. I'm never going to get size. Like I didn't know it was possible.
Right.
But started doing my research, and it's possible. So like, I don't know. It motivates me when other people are telling me that I'm motivating them, you know? And then I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to keep posting videos. And like another thing that I try to do is post my complete workouts when I do post videos.
Right.
Rather than showing you 2 things I did at the gym and then being like, well, if you want to see the rest, you got to buy my whatever plan, you know? Right. I usually show people everything I did that day in under a minute, you know, for Instagram or whatever.
Nice. Yeah, my girl, she watches them. In the gym. I sent you that video or the picture.
I saw her.
Yeah. Video. Yeah, she was on it, man. And then the next day she was like, fuck.
Sore as fuck.
Yeah, she's like, damn. But that's from like, you know, breaking up your routine, doing different angles of even the same thing.
Exactly.
Even you see people like walking up sideways up the escalator and you're like, what the hell is that person doing? No, that's real. Like you're doing something different. You're hitting a different muscle. Like, awesome. So
yeah, you got to keep trying to invent ways to work out the same muscle, which is another reason I like, you know, training, because it's always different, or I try to keep it different.
Absolutely. So what other things are you involved in for those who don't know you yet? I know your life and I know a lot of the things that you do, but what other ways have you capitalized on the internet and, you know, your notoriety and stuff like that?
What I'm involved in? Nothing. No.
Yeah, you
are. Because of my following, I've been able to not only sell training plans and diet plans for people. Also, I studied it, so it's not just like, oh, hey, look at me, I'm gonna pretend I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I've been able to do that. I've, you know, sold t-shirts, I sold posters. Now I'm currently selling a lamp with my ass on it, you know.
Ass lamp.
Ass lamp.
Let there be ass light.
I don't know, I just keep trying to come up with, you know, things to do and ways to make money on the internet, which is like everybody's goal right now. Everyone wants to be.
Is that all? That's your source of income right now, is the internet?
Yeah. Yes.
No 9-to-5er.
Nope. I quit 9-to-5 jobs about 5 years ago. And I remember when I quit.
Then you learn what it's like to work 24 hours a day.
Yeah, exactly. When I quit, I told myself, I know that this is going to be hard as fuck and whatever. But I mean, that's why, not to sound cocky or anything, but that's why I feel like, honestly, I'm one of the harder working models out there, because I have so much shit going on and I have to push it because I don't have this steady income, like just in case my prints don't sell or whatever, right. You know, like I can't bartend tonight to make up for whatever I lost. Like,
right.
You know,
you're on it and you take care of the family and you do all that stuff. That Miami style.
Yeah. That's the Cuban thing.
That's a Cuban thing. That's a Latin American thing. Like I travel, fortunate enough to travel a lot in Central and South America. And it's a trait we've lost up here to a large degree. Cool thing down there that I ran into in some of the social settings, the kids have, you know, as young adults, they have the children early. And then in the household, the grandparents raise the kids, and then the younger adults work. So in a lot of cultures down there that I've been around, it's always the grandparents, because, you know, they're relatively young too, 50s, you know, whatever. And they're raising those children, and the younger ones that have the energy to work harder are working it. So they keep the 3 generations in the family, and it just rotates like that.
It's true, because my grandmother,
like them off to nursing homes. It's no, let them raise the kids. You work hard.
Yeah. My grandmother raised me and my brother.
Right. And you know what? Grandparents are better at raising, in my opinion, they're better at raising kids than regular parents, because a lot of times they've gotten past the mistakes and just realized, it's just a kid. Just love the shit out of it and make sure it doesn't drown. Like that's like all you got to do. Like just
feed it.
feed it, do the stuff for it, blah, blah, blah. Whereas like 22-year-olds trying to figure out themselves, figuring out their job, figuring out life, blah, 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 then trying to raise this other life. Like it can be a lot more complicated.
Not only that, but if you're dropping them off with their grandparents, you're dropping them off with a family member. Right. They're not going to let anything happen to your kid.
Right. Well, these are in the house. Like a lot of the situations I'm talking about, like they all live together. So it's like 3 generations, like sometimes 4, all living together. And people are like, oh man, they're all crammed up in the house because they don't want to be. No, that's how they set it up.
Yeah.
They do it like that for a reason. You know what I mean? And it makes sense, because then you know, like got a lot of people in their 50s already done working.
Yeah. My childhood was like that. We lived with my grandparents until I was maybe like 11. And then we all moved apart, but my mom was still like dropping us off at grandpa's house early in the morning. Sometimes they would take us to school, pick us up from school, and then we're in their house until whenever my mom got out of work. So.
Yep. Doing it up.
Yeah. Eating good food.
Eating good food. So what's coming up for you? What do you got on the radar?
No idea.
No idea.
I never have an idea. No.
Nada. Yeah, nothing going on.
I'm such a stressed person, but I try not to think about what I'm going to do next so I don't stress even more. I don't know. I kind of just like go with the flow, which might not be a good thing, but it's
I read your social media. You don't go with any flow.
I mean work related. Like I try not to plan.
You wore on there like I do.
Yeah.
Every day.
I try not to plan like, I don't know, anything serious.
You just did one of the shows down in Florida. Stopped by Miami.
Yes.
And visited.
Yeah, I did.
The show. You got any other?
Hung out with Taylor for a bit.
Yep. She said that, and you did your in and
She
out.
grabbed my butt. Yeah.
I did. She did grab your butt. She got the photo. She's one of the ones that can grab the butt and doesn't get punched.
Exactly. Maybe the only one. Yeah.
Well, Jake, you don't punch him either anymore.
Well, him either. Yeah.
True. You also participate in one of our platforms, which is ismygirl.com. And I maybe have some ideas for that going down the road with podcasts as well. And we're going to talk about that in the future and talk about some of the ladies involved in that. But Is My Girl is one of the platforms where we've, especially through the Inked platform, where we provided a service where, you know, girls can monetize their following. You're involved in several like that. And we are in development of that site, and we're bringing in some of the features like live and tipping, and all of that stuff should be ready by the first of the year.
Yeah, I think that live thing would be really cool.
Lives are super good. The gifting features, the participation features, and all of that. And it's really an interesting thing because, you know, girls like and models, male and female, they've been putting out their content for a long time, and it's always such a hit or miss. Hit or miss. You know, maybe a photographer pays you, maybe a magazine picks it up. Maybe a clothing company, you know, has the money that year to put, you know, a few people into the catalog. But a lot of times it's just hit or miss because there is so much content. So it's interesting to see how like this is now turning, and there's this like self-marketing platform.
I think it's a really dope platform specifically for girls who may not, like girls who may have a 9-to-5 that may not have time to necessarily sit there and learn how to create an entire website or sell products or print products to sell or whatever. It's just plug and play, post your pictures, you know, like set up your, you know, your monthly fee and you're good to go. So
subscription based, and then you message with the customers, And one of the big things we like tell a lot of the ladies and the guys, we have an Is My Guy coming down the line as well, is that is that you know, these people throw all this content to you and all of your pages all the time, messaging and DMs and all of this stuff, and it gives you a way to streamline it, right? So like, honestly, sorry to burst all your bubbles, these models aren't really trying to just talk to you. Like, they're trying to find a way to monetize this time. Like, if you saw how many guys are throwing these same questions at them, like it's tough. Nobody can answer all of that. So you get them over here, and it's like, all right, if I'm going to cut time out of my day to speak to you, here's the subscription. It's cheap, it's like $10 a month, but that's not the point. The point is that, like, okay, they have a credit card. They're interested in actually engaging with me and paying for my time, because like, it's real. I mean, we only have so much time during the day.
And it's kind of like showing the models that you appreciate their content, that you really are supporting, because at the end of the day, liking a picture on Instagram does fucking nothing for nobody.
Nothing. Right. So, but if you got subscribers, if you've got dozens or hundreds or, you know, potentially thousands of followers, even at a minimal amount, that it's accumulative, and it lets that model or just person, like you said, just the 9-to-5, or just, we got housewives, you know, just to give them an opportunity to have that content in one location. They streamline everybody else from the other platforms over to there. And they're like, look, if you really want to engage with me, this is the one that I communicate on. This is when I actually answer the messaging board and all of that. Because the guys got to understand, man, you got 4 million followers on Facebook. You just can't. You can't go into that message board and respond.
Yeah, I really can't.
There's no point.
And they're all the same messages too.
It's all the same messages. Exactly. Yeah. So this is the way to do it. I had Annabelle Peaks. I was telling you, we just did a interview with her, and it was so funny because she's one of the ones that I try and tell, like, a lot of up and coming models, like, hey, if you're trying to get your full hustle on and do this this is how she does it. And one of the craziest things she does, she travels a lot. She does the circuit, right? So she'll go to like the AVNs and the Exoticas and all of that as well, or sometimes feature dances, whatever. And when she's going, she schedules out her breakfast and her dinner. And if you want, you can buy her breakfast with her, right? So she'll show up at the event. She's at the restaurant already. You show up there, you have breakfast with her, you pay for breakfast, and then you're out, and there's nothing else for you. It's just that, right? And because she's, you know, she's known, and people, it's no different than like wanting to sit down with any other person that you know that's a celebrity that you
it's like paying for a backstage pass at a concert
100%.
To meet the band, you know?
Except this breakfast is $500.
Oh, okay.
And she gets it. And dinner is a G.
Jesus.
And she gets it.
Yeah.
And it's what it is. You know, you show up, you do this. And I told her, like, she's got to do it at a Waffle House once because she's never been to a Waffle House. And like, it's like my fantasy that this girl's going to get a $500 Waffle House experience.
Yeah.
I think that would just be the shit.
For a $5 waffle.
Yeah. All right. So dogs. You are also a pet owner.
Yeah.
As am I.
Babies.
Yeah. And we are the good people in the world that believes that dogs are the best people.
It's true. They are.
So what do you got?
I have a 3-year-old French bulldog named Thor.
Where is Thor?
He's behind me on the floor sleeping.
Knocked out. Because he's a Frenchie and that's all he does.
Yeah. All he does is sleep, fart, and snore. And then we recently.
So why did you get a husband?
Yeah, I know. He's like half asleep right now too. Same thing.
Synchronized sleep.
Yeah. No, but Thor, like, I'll be on the computer working or whatever, and even if the laptop is on my lap and I'm sitting Indian style, like, there's no way for you to get on top of me. Mm-hmm. He finds a way to, like, stick his face on my leg. Like, he always just rests himself on one of your body parts. Even if you're sleeping, like, he'll just rest his head on your hand, on your armpit, wherever he fits. It's really funny. And then recently we adopted Salem, which is an all black cat, which we thought he was a girl at first because the person we adopted him from said he was a girl. So we called him Gypsy. And then we saw that he started growing balls. And we were like, this is not Gypsy, this is Salem now. And
Gypsy could have worked.
Yeah, but it
couldn't have worked as a.
I don't know. I feel like Gypsy's more a girl name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna get him clipped?
We just got him neutered like I don't know, a couple days ago. But I thought it was gonna shut him up because I'm not a cat person, but Jake is. And this cat decides that every fucking night, as soon as the lights are out, he wants to have full-blown conversations with whatever he's seeing, fucking spirits, I don't know. And it's really annoying. So people were telling me, neuter him, he'll shut up, he'll stop. And so we got him neutered. And then that same night, as soon as the anesthesia wore off, he was back at it. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. It has nothing to do with his balls. He's just annoying.
How's the dog getting along with him?
At first, the cat would, like, claw the fuck out of him. And, but now they're cool. They're, like, BFFs now. They sleep together and they play, so.
You used to work in the tattoo industry, right? You were a piercer?
Mm-hmm. I was a piercer for 9 years, and I actually tattooed for a year also.
What happened?
I got over it. Like,
just
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I got over it.
Yeah, I think
dramatic and shit.
I think if you're not super passionate about it, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I really liked piercing. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it was the shops that I worked at.
Yeah. Miami's tough, man. Like, I got a lot of friends down there, but that's a tough scene. Florida's a tough scene in general. I owned a shop in North Florida for 10 years, you know. Fat Cats Artistry. It's still there, actually, in Ocala, Florida. Not affiliate with any of the other Fat Cats, but, you know, and I had pierced originally for a long-ass time. Yeah. And I enjoyed it, too. But, yeah, like, you know, just like anything else, man. It's got a shelf life. Mm-hmm. Got to move on.
That's how I felt. And when I started piercing, I started, like, in the hood. I was in the fucking hood, and it was just like arguing every day with people over prices. Yeah. No, not me. Over anything, like over prices, over whatever, aftercare. Like it was just fucking frustrating, not worth it. And then I moved shops and it was kind of the same shit. And I was like, fuck this. I'm good.
Yeah, I could kind of see you needing to either do your own thing or have your own shop kind of situation.
Yeah.
It's a little alpha, a little harder for alphas to work in that environment.
Yeah. And it wasn't even like the people I worked with or the owner, like I was cool with all of them. It was just like customers were, I don't know. And I was really young too. I worked at a shop as soon as I was 18, you know, and I probably looked 15 at the time. So aside from people, you know, not trusting me because I look young, it was always like, oh, but how long have you been doing this? How old are you? Blah, blah, blah. If it was a guy coming to get pierced, the girlfriend would be like, no, she's not piercing you. You know, it was always like which is crazy because it's so different now. Like now it's like really cool if you're a female tattooer or piercer or whatever. But yeah, back then.
It's born in the wrong time.
I know.
So you reading anything right now?
Reading? No.
No?
No. I have so many books that I'm like, oh, I'm going to read this. And then they just sit like on a shelf.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Or get the audiobook.
I don't know.
No?
My own voice annoys me. I'm sure that other people's voices reading to me, I probably wouldn't get through much.
I'm reading a good one right now called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. And it's a good one because like in this climate, as you know, we're similar passions with the political environment that we're in and the social environment that we find ourselves right now, which is, fucking insane and ridiculous in every aspect and a full assault on everything that we value and everything else. And, trying to separate all of the chaos and deal with the idea that I've got, friends, some of them that I consider to be very intelligent that are not all on the same path.
They're not all there right now.
They're not all there right now. And I try and take that with a grain of salt because somehow these people that believe this shit and believe that there's something good about what's happening right now, they have to have the same views we have in the opposite. They have to think that we're crazy. They have to think that, equal treatment of people is bad somehow. They have to think that, there's something. So I try and like balance that shit out because it's complicated to deal with. So I'm reading that one, which is cool because I'm trying to do more in like listening to podcasts, which kind of was my inspiration for this. And for anybody else involved, like if you're getting crazy overwhelmed by the bullshit, even the news outlets that aren't like 100% biased, because there are full bias. I mean, Fox is fully biased this way. CNN is fully biased this way. Doesn't mean that the information isn't accurate and it's not all fucking fake. Things actually happen. But, how you pitch it is to lean towards your advertisers, period. If you've got people that want to be like, Trump's fucking great, well, then you're going to watch Fox and you're going to listen to anything and believe everything that they tell you. And if you want to think that he's the worst person in the world, regardless of if I believe it, you're going to watch CNN and they're going to feed that to you, So you got to find these sources where it's outside. So I started listening to more podcasts.
Or maybe they're not making so much money off whatever.
Or they're not making so much money, like NPRs and shit. Those are solid, BBCs, things like that. I still listen to all of those. You got to try and take it all in. But I started listening to more podcasts because it was awesome just to hear people talk. And just like, just opinion. There's no gain in it. If I say Trump's a fucking asshole, it's because I'm just believe that. I'm not, being paid to say it. So that's been good. And it kind of made me think like, hey, I'm traveling a little bit less. Like my job description's different. Like I've made some changes in what I was doing. So I'm going to go after this. And then I'm going to talk with some of these awesome people that are very opinionated and like have their own views on shit and kind of see how it is.
Yeah.
So, it has to be an interesting time for you two because your husband is from England, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So it must be interesting conversations if y'all have political conversations. I don't know if that's something you keep out of the house or not.
I tried not to talk about that with anyone, to be honest, because I don't know, I guess like I grew up on the internet, so, and I've noticed that every time I post my opinion, whether it's about the president or a pair of shoes, I get like severely attacked by people and I don't know, I just don't want to deal with it. So I'm just going to keep, also I don't want to lose any of my followers just because of their political beliefs or whatever. I don't give a fuck. If you're buying my shit, I don't care who you voted for.
Which you probably severed a few, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm like, fuck off, sometimes I'll go at it cause I have to, I feel like I have to, but
sure.
Yeah, as far as Jake goes, he had like no idea about any of like the election or whatever. And when it was all happening, we kind of watched a little bit of it, like the debates and shit. And he like his first words about Trump were, Trump's a cunt. Like who the fuck is this guy? I'm like, oh, he's like a reality TV, like racist. And he's like, what the fuck? So now we don't talk about it so much, but when he does, he's like staring at me. When Trump is on TV or pops up on fucking Facebook or whatever, I'll just mention like, babe, Trump, this, and this. And he's like, what a fucking idiot. That guy's such a cunt. Like, and then he'll say shit like, I don't even know anything about America or whatever, but that guy's an asshole. Like,
right. Okay. So one of the things that when we were touching in on the bullying just a minute ago, and that's kind of how you found yourself in the having a lot of friends in support of the gay community, because that was a group that up until recently, and unfortunately still, bullying takes place and is more acceptable than in some areas, as it shouldn't be. And it got brought to me by a friend of mine who just posted about an adult star who recently took her life because she was getting like all this negative backlash, and for some of her views, you know, and this kind of the system we live in now, where people just like, once they latch on to being negative towards somebody or something, they're just like massively aggressive about it, and drive people to, you know, it's pretty extreme ends, and sometimes final end. And that was, I think that was the divide in not understanding what some people are so opposed to this political climate was. Like, they don't understand when they say things like, oh, it's, you just wanted Hillary to win, or you just wanted this to win. It wasn't that. Like, for a lot of us, it wasn't, I don't like Hillary either. I didn't like her. When it was down to those two, I felt like we were screwed either way. I was like, we have a massively ambitious, driven candidate for political reasons. It's only been ever focused on political gain and power. And this other one who's just maniacal and self-promoting and only cares about money, the addiction to fame and money. Like, that's the poisoned soul. He represents the poisoned soul in mankind. And that's the point. It's like, no, you shouldn't have to accept either side of the worst of us, you know? Right. And that was the thing with him, was that he reflects everything bad that I view in my own self, right? My addiction to soullessness and fame and money and all of that I battle with, to not be that type of person, right? And having no regard for humanity. And that was really the thing, because this has now, because of the campaign, the way it was run, and the bullying on the campaign, and the acceptability of, you know, making fun of handicap, and, you know, degrading women and making fun of them and all of that, and just being generally nasty and soulless, like, that was the point, was that, like, I would have rather dealt with status quo of just another politician doing what politicians do, than just bringing somebody in who wants to sell soap at the cost of us all. Like, would sell his children. I mean, hell, he's throwing his son in the line of fire for, you know, the Russian scandal that is not fake, you know? And so that was really what was the most concerning, was that we had just been through 8 years where, even with its ups and downs of a presidency and of life, I mean, no president's job is to make us all happy and wealthy. That's not their job. Their job is
none of them are going to be perfect. But
right. Nobody's going to be perfect. But the idea was that he was always an adult. He always carried himself respectful as a man, like a proper gentleman. He, you know, kissed his wife's hand. He, like, you know, he played with children. He made you feel good, you know, like, just was a leader. You know, a president is essentially a coach of a team, right? You got a whole lot of players up there. There's a lot of people in Washington. That guy's there, or woman is there, to help, like, rally the field, you know what I mean? To get everybody working in synergy and keep the crowd, like, motivated and going in the upward path that we got ourselves.
And essentially just feeling safe, and not just, like, not just by war, just by self. Right. And, like, this is just, like, causing just horrible ripple effect. And there's nothing that's taboo now, right? Like, there's nothing that's not okay. And that's kind of the sick genius of what he's done, is he's made nothing inappropriate. So, like, Al Franken just resigned today, which is insane. Not because he resigned, but because the Democrats are resigning, but more is on the way to becoming, like, the first known open pedophile, you know, in DC that's not elected yet, that's going to go there if Alabama, you know, makes this mistake. And that, you know, Trump's in office right now, and one of his most horrible accusations was the repeated rape of a 13-year-old at the sex parties, you know, that she's come out twice to try and, like, bring it out as an adult woman, and for whatever reason keeps getting silenced. You know, it's not hard to put all that together, but, you know, 17 women can come out and say, no, this is when he did this. Known people, like, known women, like, not left field, middle of nowhere, like, we've never heard of you, like, people that, you know. So it's like,
it sets up this tension with us all and in the world. But the counter to it, and I believe this, is that sometimes, you know, just like with addiction, you have to hit absolute rock bottom, right? Like you have to hit the absolute worst. Mm-hmm. So right now we have the worst thing that we've ever seen in our lifetime. Like the world confidence in us is at its lowest. The tensions between people is at its worst. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not okay. And saying like, look, the stock market's doing well, that doesn't mean anything. First of all, that's driven mostly by tech and mostly by things he has nothing to do with. And some of the bubble is by the idea that the infrastructure is going to kick in, that he's actually going to start this $1 trillion that's going to be dumped into infrastructure. So all these people are putting all these money into like bridge companies and iron and steel and stuff like this. But if that doesn't start, then all of that goes away. And, you know, the bubble bursts. So it's like, you know, I post that sometimes that it's better to be good than right. And I believe that, you know, life is going to be life regardless, but you can't accept this environment. Right. So that's my ultimate hope with it all, is that this is that lancing of the poison that's been here. It's been under the surface. That's been inside a portion of the people. And it's not just white, and it's not just cops, and it's not just this and not just that. Like, everybody has that side to them, and you just choose whether or not you're going to be, which one you're going to reflect. You know, there's that description of good and evil as that 49.9 and 50.1 battle, where you're constantly going back and forth between good and evil in your choice. And all you are is a one statement, one action, one idea away from one or the other, right? You turn your life in either direction, and you can do it repeatedly over your life. But in the worst of us, we have the potential to not be that way. And in the best of us, we have that ability to slip quick. I mean, I have repeatedly in my life.
Yeah.
You know, you haven't always been this ball of sunshine. And, you know, there are times that both of us have acted in ways that even immediately afterwards we're like, man, like I could have carried myself.
But it doesn't, I mean, not that it doesn't matter if we do that, but we're fucking no one. Like, for someone who is leading a country to act that way,
right,
it's a problem. And then what I've noticed more is that people, well, not all people, I'm not gonna say all, but a lot of people that support him don't know anything about what's happening. They just support him because they like his character or him as a person for whatever reason.
Right.
And then you see like these videos of little kids like, I guess, supporting him, even though they don't know what the fuck's going on either. But
right, they don't have any idea. That's just impressionism.
It's
like, yeah, well, you know, the statements about him are really accurate when they say that he is a poor man's idea of a rich man, a weak man's idea of a strong man, and a stupid man's idea of a smart man, you know, like, and that's, I'm not trying to be an asshole. That's legitimate. I mean, if you have no basis to really qualify those things, then he is going to be what that reflects. I had this like kind of the summary of him and like the type of people that like are for and against him. He, and this is generalizing and wrapping it up pretty quick, but I think it's at least accurate for me. He is the guy in the family. He is that father figure in the family. If you come from a family or know a family that has an abusive male in it, right? And what he is, in my assessment, he is the abuser. And the way you deal with the abuser is you're either a victim and he repulses you and you fight against it. So the people that are fighting about it and the ones that you saw cry and these people like to like, oh, you fucking snowflakes and you're so soft and blah, 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 when he won, it wasn't because, not for everybody, but for some, it wasn't because he won and Hillary lost in that aspect. It was that somebody had accepted that abusive father figure, that male character, back into the social fabric. So people felt the abuser that they dealt with in childhood was now in a position of power again. And it was terrifying to some people because they see in him that male, insecure, aggressive, domineering, belittling, degrading human. And like, you feel that. You know what I mean? Even George W. Bush, right after 9/11, he went out with one of the lowest approval ratings in history. But right after 9/11, he was at over 80% approval rating, because when he spoke right after 9/11, you felt him. Like everybody was like, Daddy, you know what I mean? It was like they connected to him quickly because he was telling you everything was going to be okay. So even if later, like his actions he didn't leave on that kind of a note, he was able to pull that off. Where this guy can't do that. There's no empathy in this guy. There's no connection to human being. Like he doesn't hold a child and understand.
It's like he's soulless and shit.
He's 100% soulless because he sold it. Like he is only in love. When he talks to people that are whatever they've gone through, his first thing is to be like, oh, you're going to be famous now. Like he's excited. He's like, man, people are going to know you. Like that matters more to him, than anything else. Yeah. So the people that were scared and terrified is because he reflects that, right? Then the other side, the ones who like don't see it that way and kind of like rally under him, to me, those are the family members that were able to, how you have two siblings, one gets the abuse, one doesn't, but the other one watches it, but somehow stays in the grace of the violent person. Yeah. And so their character is to prop up and take position with the aggressor, because if I stay in his good grace, he doesn't attack me.
Right.
So as long as I stay on his side and stay on, drunk daddy's good side, I don't get hit. And that's the other side of it. Those are the people that fall under him. The other type that fall under his role are they are those aggressors. They are the bullies.
That's a good way to put it though. Like, the abusive dad or uncle, or
he's the abusive male role model or character in the family. And so the ones that connect are the ones that he makes their abuse and their ugliness okay. So they are that. And then the other ones, the ones I try and be empathetic to and try and understand and try not to lash out on, is the ones that are scared because he represents that, and they watched him do this. So as long as, like I said, as long as they stay out of his arm,
as long as they stay bringing him beer, he's not going to
hit him.
Yeah.
And he reacts that. I watch everybody following him and reacting to him like children, because that's what we all are. We're all a reflection of what we experience as a child. And that's what he is, man. And so it's unfortunate that the other side says the things they say, and the nasty things they say to people that don't want him there, because that's what it is. They were either the sibling who mocked the one that was attacked or abused, or they did it themselves so they can justify it, or they were and it blows my mind, the women that accept it, they were the women who allowed their own children to get hit and stayed loving them and made excuses for it. And they might have been abused themselves. And so they fall under that. And I know this is all very this is all takes it back to one particular instance we have, but it's what it is. Then there is another group that are completely oblivious because their family didn't have it and they didn't see that. So they don't understand what he is. And maybe they just don't get it. But if you're gonna try and really understand what's going on with it, you got to quit saying a year later you're just mad that Hillary didn't win. I mean, you got to let that go and grow from that, right? You got to turn the fucking page and look at it at a bit.
Say something else now,
right. Figure it out. Figure out why 99% of the world feels one way, and only several tens of million feel this other way, and nearly 7 billion feel this other way. Why is there no intellectuals that support him? There's not. And I'm not saying I don't know smart people that support him. I'm saying people outside of like the norm, the just friends that are intelligent, true intellectuals, economists, things like that. They don't like him. Nobody does. No legitimate scientists believe that the things that their party is trying to claim, like the fake idea that there's global warming and stuff like that. There's just nobody who does. It's only people who are there for their own personal gain. The Republican Party has sold itself out unbelievably. All Republicans used to say this guy is a threat. He's dangerous. You can't let him be here. He's a threat to security, et cetera, et cetera. And then when he's in, all of a sudden they all on the surface kiss ass until they get caught on hot mic talking shit about him because they all hate him. Or they, his own fucking secretary, of state calls him a moron. And then any of them that are not going for re-election are completely honest about it and say, this guy is absolutely insane and you can't have him here. Mm-hmm. So, you know, just for this tit for tat society we live in right now, where it's all just about, and it looks like what it's going to be about is every time the other side gets elected, they spend their entire term in office just trying to undermine what the previous one did instead of actually do something.
Yeah.
Forward, which is the only motive he's got right now. And we have to get away from that. We have to get away from this tit for tat situation because it's always going to be 100% gridlocked. Like, that's what the Republicans did to Obama. I mean, McConnell said it at the beginning. He was like, I'm going to make sure you're a one-term president, which didn't happen. And the counter to that was to block 100% filibuster everything. And we're just stuck. So we're just going to keep trading back and forth and not going anywhere, you know? So those are things that I hope will get exposed. And I hope that this is that awakening to us all.
Yeah, I was going to say, things will get exposed eventually. Everything comes out. Sure. But you got to hope that people will actually fucking pay attention.
Well, I think there's no question they're paying attention. I think this is the most engaged any of us have been politically in our lifetime, because like, you know that it's not in good hands, so you can't not watch it. You know, when you're in a store and like a child holds something breakable, like,
and you just gotta stare at it. Yeah.
You gotta wait. You gotta, like, everybody's like this, like with their hands under it. Everybody on his side and the opposite side, child holding a delicate object, the world, and everybody's on pins and needles. Guy like Obama's
the world.
The world. The guy like Obama's in there, and you're like, oh man, he's got this.
He got this. Yeah.
I'm gonna go do this other stuff right quick.
Yeah.
So that's true. It. You know, that's the rundown and that analogy about the abusive male. I think pretty much I've heard a lot of different scenarios about him and you know, different people's impressions of it, but I think I'm onto something with that one. I think that's pretty spot on. That at least with a lot of people, you know, that's the real threat. You know, that's the concern that a lot of us have. So it's all, you know, it's good. It happens. Shit like this hits a fan every once in a while. Every, you know, few decades, you get a character.
A psychopath.
You get a psychopath, yeah. And everybody's got to like reassess or just say fuck it and go for broke. But I am trying to I am inspired by him. So from now on, whenever I do anything or I make an accomplishment, I'm gonna like hold up paper for the world to see and sign my name. Because that's his thing. Every time he does that, I think of like a third grader showing off their new macaroni fucking painting, you know?
Macaroni necklaces and shit.
Exactly. So
he's just such an idiot. Like I don't even really watch shit about him anymore because I just can't. Like,
right. You just reach a point.
I'm like, whatever. It is what it is at this point. What the fuck am I gonna do? Like, hope he gets
shot.
Involved.
Get involved in the next process for sure. That's it.
Hope it gets eaten alive by a fucking panther.
But it's good, man. I think that that's what we're here to do, right? Like, I think that's it. You put out as much positivity as you can. You put out as much like connectivity as you can. I think that for me, this environment makes me like more aware when I'm out in public and when I'm talking to people, to value that interaction, to say something positive, to be kinder, because now you're seeing at the highest level what being horrific does. So like, that's the counter to it, man. That's the pendulum swing.
Like, it's just really sad that someone that has the reach that he has, even before he was the president, is just using it to be an asshole. Right. And just come off as whatever you want to come off as, fucking macho man, whatever. Like,
but sometimes you got to have that dictator for the system to break, to be overthrown. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes you have to go that way. So that's what I think, man. I think that all of that, we know what it is, blah, blah, blah. He's not going to change. He's going to die being exactly that. So the only thing we could do with all of this is think about how we interact with each other. Like, I love what you do for sticking up for, you know, any community you feel that's being disparaged or anything like that. And, you know, that's one of the goals I want to attack during this. I want to have all kinds of different people on that we just talk about their situation. You know, me being in sobriety, as long as I have, like, I plan on having other people in sobriety. One of my counselors, I've already got like him set up to come on, but I want to bring on like, you know, like want to have a full-blown addict on, you know, and I want to have different people in their different situations and how they're experiencing life right now, because these are really complicated times. And I think talking about just them, you know, just these people out here that we don't actually interact with, I think you have to be aware. So I don't think there's anything wrong with us talking about it. I think you have to put that out into the universe over and over, that you do not accept it and that you want better and that you're taking steps towards better.
Yeah, just be a better person, be a better human.
Right.
Make better fucking choices.
Right. And let other people talk, man. Bring more and more people out there. And like, that's why I like what you're doing, man. That's why you're the second person I'm talking to on this, because, you know, aside from the one side of your persona, you actually do participate a lot and care a lot, and you talk to a lot of people.
I give many fucks.
You give all the fucks. Like,
I give many fucks.
There's this many fucks and you give them.
It's really sad though, because even like when you speak to people with a large following or whatever, and they have the opportunity to impact so many people with positivity, someone somewhere always finds a way to turn it into something negative. Like, you know how on Thanksgiving I feed the homeless and whatever. Remember, you helped me out. You gave me some shirts once, whatever.
Yep.
Even when I do that and I film it, people are like, oh, you're just doing that to show off. And like, I'm like, no, I'm filming it to show everyone else how fucking easy it is to be a nice person and make a sandwich for someone who has fucking nothing, you know? But there's always that dick that's like, oh yeah, you're just doing this because you want people to think you're very nice and whatever. So I'm like, fuck that. So I stopped filming them. I still do it. I just don't record it.
No, don't stop. You gotta, I've told you, I told especially the models, I told them this from the jump. We would post something and you have 10,000 people like something and 10 dickheads say something bad. And I do this too. And I choose to pay attention to those 10. That's our choice. Yeah. That's the weirdness in us. That's our insecurity, where it doesn't matter how many people say something great. Like, the people that came up to you and thanked you should have meant more to you and should mean more to you than anybody's opinion. So filming that, and the idea that if you film it and put it out there could motivate one person to then go do the same thing, is worth hearing hundreds of people say something bad. For real. Yeah. For real.
Even, I remember last year while we were doing it, my mom was behind me with the camera, because I wasn't fucking doing no selfies and shit, but she was behind me with the camera, and she ended up getting bitched at by a man. I don't know if he was a homeless guy or whatever, but I just hear someone screaming at her, and she's like, what the fuck, I'm just recording. Like, so I turned around and I'm like, what is your problem? Oh, why are you recording these people? I'm like, first of all, we're not really showing their face unless they're okay with it. Like, and most of them were like, oh, is that a camera? Hey, like, you know?
Yep. It's Miami. Everybody wants to be in front of a camera.
Exactly. But he was being like a dick about it, and he made my mom like uncomfortable as fuck. So I don't know.
But that's that energy that always tries to counter good, right? Like I love the Bob Marley thing, you know, where he got shot in the stomach, and like the next day he was on stage, or 2 days later he was on stage, and they were like, you know, why would you come this soon after being shot? Why aren't you resting? Why aren't you recovering? Why didn't you cancel this? And he said, the people of the world that are trying to make it worse never take a day off. So why should I? And I was like, damn, I'm sure I fucked up the quote, but
you're like, preach, Bob.
You're like, that's the shit. And that's the point. Like, the more you do and the higher you climb, like, somebody's always going to be there. Like I always say, if you have 100 fans, you're going to have one hater. If you have 1 million fans, you're going to have 10,000 haters. Like, it's going to be that ratio. So fuck it. But the idea that you would even think for a minute to change your good and the recording your good for the sake of those few is where you got caught up. And so
it's not that I'm like not gonna do it anymore. It was just kind of like, maybe I'll put on Snapchat and not necessarily on YouTube, you know? Like,
nope.
I don't know. It just gets frustrating. Like,
sure,
the internet is frustrating.
But the high road is always harder. The high road is always harder. It's easy to sit around and bitch and like, you know, fucking act like a dick and like get around other people that act like dicks. But if you actually do something selfless and do something that takes energy and puts that out, people react to that negatively because it reflects their own lack of effort. Like, when you do something good, it dawns on them, and they have to face the fact that they've done nothing. So as long as that person then says what you did had ulterior motives, then they're justified, and like, oh, it's better to sit here and do nothing than to do something good, maybe with a motive. It doesn't make any sense. Like, and of course you should record it. And sure, of course you should put it out there, because you're advertising. Yes, you're advertising yourself. You're advertising yourself as a conduit for better. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Or as a person instead of a fucking model or whatever.
Right. Or a model that happens to also give a damn, and that's awesome. It doesn't matter, man. The person who receives that kindness from you could give a fuck less what your attitude was. I mean, I'm sure the Puerto Ricans were just thrilled that they got a paper towel rolled thrown at them. You know what I mean? When they lost their like family and farms and, you know, everything. And still have no power. They got paper towels, man. I mean, like,
soak up the floods in your house with this bounty.
Wipe those tears away from everything you've lost, because now you have bounty. But the point is, like, except for that, the people that receive something, especially if it is from the heart. I mean, never let that be affected by anybody else that's got something negative to say, and definitely put it out there. Because like I said, if one person saw what you did and was like, you know what, I'm going to take one blanket outside and hand it to one person. Mm-hmm. Fuck it. That's worth 100 people saying that you did it for some bullshit reason. Yeah. I'm gonna make a shirt for myself that says never read the comments. Like, never read the comments.
It's true. You know what I mean? You can disable them now, which is great.
For real. Like, just do what you do for the sake of you doing it. Cause I know you know why you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, and as far as advertising, you should, you know, bad things get advertised more than good things. That's the problem. That's why we see the world as this bad place when it's not. Sure. The world's fucking amazing. It's incredible. And, you know, people are like, yeah, but somebody went and shot people today. Right. But 6.9 billion didn't.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. Like, as the world becomes actually safer and the country becomes safer and better all the time, and statistically this is fact, it's not opinion, except for small pocket cities where crime elevates. As that happens, because there's less of it, the media, which is instant and all-consuming, hyper focuses on it for that week until the next thing comes. But the fact of the matter is, those lulls in between, if it was really that bad, there'd be no lulls. There would be a mass shooting every minute. There would be bombs going off here all the time. And it's just not the case. So the media has to have a hysterical reaction to everything just to sell that advertising space. So the world isn't bad. The place isn't bad. There's always fucked up areas. There's always going to be a bit of it. People are like, if the world was good, then how could those bad things happen? But it's just. And
how you were saying to just be kind and do it like from your heart. The last time I went and like fed the homeless. So usually I just fill the trunk of my car with a bunch of like brown paper bags, like lunches, whatever. And I'll just park, you know, open my car and then just start handing it to people and all that stuff, or like shirts, socks, whatever, toothbrushes. The last time that I did it, I saw this car pull up in front of me. So I'm behind them waiting for them to move so I can park on the side of the street. And the person just literally starts like throwing bags of like McDonald's like out the window to all these homeless people. Like, you can't even put your fucking car in park though. You know, like, what the
It's
fuck?
like bouncing off the
like
ground.
Here, just like, it was like throwing t-shirts at a show, you know, with
open drinks of Coke, just throwing
just like here, like, it was just, I don't know. And like, and then at first I was like, oh, that's cool, they're giving them McDonald's. And then like you see them like picking it up from the floor and shit, because the bitch is just like launching about her fucking window. So she launches like 4 bags and then like drives off.
But give in a way that the receiver has a little bit of dignity.
Like, don't treat them like dogs. Here, eat the burger from the floor, because what the fuck?
Shaking it into a trough as they go down the line.
We're just like, here. And then like they drove off fast as fuck. Like, they didn't want anyone to get near their fucking Escalade or whatever. I was like, everybody come in my Mini Cooper.
Everybody load up.
I know. Like, come drink some Capri Suns.
So you gonna do anything for the holiday? What do you got?
I'm staying home actually.
P.S. It's right. We're recording this on December 7th, by the way. So Christmas is coming. Who knows when it'll actually get released? So what's gonna happen? You're doing what?
Probably nothing. I kind of decided that I want to take a break from my immediate family. Yeah.
No, I think that's fair.
Currently not talking to any of them, you know.
Everybody's out. Everybody's on the outs.
So I don't know, I'll probably stay home with the dog and the husband and the cat.
Whole married life.
Yeah, you know, but I mean, Hispanic people don't do shit on Christmas anyways. We do Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that's the big hoopla.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't eat like that anymore. I can't, like on Thanksgiving, I was so sick for like 2 days. And fuck that. I'm not doing that again on the 24th. Like, not going to happen.
Just have a healthy Christmas.
Yeah.
Healthy Christmas.
In my own damn house.
That's it. Well, we're going to run. I've had a blast talking with you. I always like talking to you. And as the world keeps spinning in its chaos, if you're available ever and you ever want to do it again, I'd love to talk with you more.
Super down.
Give a shout out to your projects, man. Talk about give your websites out there. Like, say this stuff.
So
maybe I'll have JP edit it and put up like little bloop.
Oh, there's the white. You got to move your head.
Yeah, exactly. It's there.
It's there
this
somewhere.
This is Vany's info.
Yeah, my website's vanyvicious.com. All my shit is there. All my fitness stuff. My store is there.
It's Vany, by the way.
Yeah, VanyVicious.com. And then I'm on Is My Girl, vanyvicious.ismygirl.com. And Instagram is official Vany Vicious.
What about the fitness one, the health one? I thought you had a fit one.
I'm going to close that one, actually. I'm just going to put it all on one because it's like too much.
I've made that mistake before too, thinking that I could compartmentalize it with really it's your fans are your fans. Like, yeah, some of them want to see your butt, some of them want to see you curl. Like,
I mean, anyways, I post my training videos on my main Instagram anyway.
Right.
So why the fuck, you know?
No, I get it. It seems like a good idea. I've compartmentalized myself way too much in the past as well.
Yeah.
It makes
sense.
I
have my dog's Instagram. My cat has an Instagram now, so I'm not going to do 4 Instagram accounts.
Yeah. I started one for Copper when I got him, and that shit lasted like 5 weeks, and then I was like, no.
And it's funny because you take so many pictures of your pets, right? You just
more than anything.
Yeah, you just don't ever get on their Instagram.
Yeah, it's no more dictures. It's all dog now. It's like just Copper all day long. Because I'm in basically that married life too now. So now it's like,
let's take a picture cuddling.
Let's take a picture of the dog. Exactly. Yeah. And we don't even take pictures together. It's just like
so sad.
The dog's at our feet.
I bought Thor 3 Halloween costumes this year. Like, just to take.
It's too fucking hot there to wear a dog costume.
I didn't do anything for Halloween. I stayed home, but my dog had 3 different costumes, and we took pictures.
That was your Halloween.
I didn't dress up. I didn't eat candy. I didn't fucking do anything. But Thor was 3 different things.
Awesome. What were the outfits? And then we got to run.
He was a bodybuilder, which is super cute. Awesome. He was the other costume was just like a rodeo dude, like on his back. So he was like, I guess the bull, you know? And then the third one was, what the fuck was this third one? Oh, he was a sushi roll.
That's awesome. Oh shit. I'm going to have a video up that comes up soon. We bought it's called a sushi cannon. It's the laziest way in the world to make sushi. I just got it. Like, I'm totally going to make a video with it.
I'm Googling it right now.
It looks like a caulk gun.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's this long. It opens up in the middle. You put all the rice in it, and then you put like whatever toppings, fish, avocado, whatever you're going to put in there. And you do the other side, and you clip it, and then you push it through the back, and it compresses it and pushes it out into a tube. And then
you just cut it.
Well, you just shoot it onto the seaweed, a sheet of seaweed, and roll it, and you're done.
And then you just cut it up.
Super lazy. Could have just bought the bamboo. You know what I mean? Like, no reason to do that.
That's really difficult, though. Have you ever tried to do that?
No, I'm lazy.
That's hard.
Yeah. Well, I think that this way will let us be like the cheat way, like the super lazy way to do it. And then it's a sushi cannon.
Oh my God.
Look it up. Look it up
right now.
See if you see it. Hold on. I'll look it up too.
Sushi cannon. I'm gonna probably order some sushi right now.
Dude, actually. Like we have sushi bazooka.
Oh, I see it. Sushi bazooka lets you shoot out sushi rolls in record time.
Isn't that great? I mean, do they show these rolls, right, that they say came from that? I don't believe it. I have a feeling like those are just professional sushi rolls they're showing you pictures of, and this thing's just gonna like squirt out a hot mess of like rice and fish.
That looks awesome.
Isn't that cool though? So I'm going to totally do this. We're going this weekend because, like I said, we're here in Philly. We've got like a sick-ass Chinatown, and Philly is out of control, and it's got all kinds of different
you can load up on your sushi ingredients.
Yeah, totally, all this stuff. So for all different, you know, Asian foods and cuisine and stuff. So we're gonna go after this for real. But are you watching it? That's incredible.
I'm not watching a video.
Anybody watch? Go to YouTube and search up Sushi Bazooka. And totally, I mean, this is, you know, I've been to Tokyo, right? Like I've had like incredible sushi, and this is probably like the most insulting shit to their culture in the world. You know what I mean? They have to look at this and be like, God, you fucking lazy American asshole. But I don't care. It looks amazing, so I'm gonna try it. And we're gonna send you pictures, okay? We'll send you down.
Yeah, I want to see. Yeah, oh my God, it's only $6.
I know, it's only $6. Like,
oh my God, getting one right now.
Yeah, you got to buy it, right? Like, there's no way not to do this.
That's awesome.
Yes, whoever made Sushi Bazooka, you can contact me and through this.
We need a sponsorship.
Yeah, and I'll advertise for you every time. Sushi.
You can do a whole podcast making sushi.
Yeah, totally. I'm just gonna totally jack this up. So, again, thank you very much. I've had a blast.
Me too.
I hope to talk to you soon. Till next time.
For sure. Just let me know.
All right. Bye.
Bye.